Hi, I'm Jason Logson from adventure-logs.com, talking to you again from sunny northern Minnesota. Now lately I have been asked several times what is different and new about the Soul 2. Now in my last video I did take the Soul 2 8-meter out on the water. I explained what you'll notice out on the water, the differences between, and then I did talk a little bit about the build differences as well. But this time I figured since I have a Soul 1 6-meter still and I have my new Soul 2 6-meter, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them out so you can see for your own eyes what has changed. So here we go. Alright, so let's start all the way from the bag. Now before I start, a little bit disclaimer. I don't remember if my Soul 1 6-meter came with this outer bag. I don't think it did, but I know you're able to sometimes, so I figured I'd show you, if you got the bag, what type of bag you were to get. This is my Sonic 3 bag, but if you were to get a bag with your Soul 1, this is what you would get as well. So here we go. So you can tell the colors have changed yet again. The packing's the same for the most part, but there is a couple new things with this next generation. First off, which I know is kind of silly, but Flysurfer started giving the sandbag again. They stopped doing that for a little while. I know they didn't do it with the Soul 1s. I think with the Sonic 3s is a little bit different of a bag. I really like these. These are the old school type of bags. They're nice. That makes me happy. So you get that now. Another bigger change is now these Soul 2s are coming with this little trim checker tool. Right now I really don't know how to use this. I plan on doing a little bit of research and checking it out. It's supposedly supposed to make it a lot easier, which is nice. Once I figure this out, I am going to do a video where I check the trim on my old Soul 1 6-meter. Now I'm going to be selling this pretty soon. So when I sell my kites, I like to make sure that they're trimmed well and performing like new. So, and then on top of that, I have never actually adjusted the trim on this 6-meter, and it's never needed to. So I'm really curious how out of whack, how out of tune that is. So once I do that, I'll just go ahead and I'll actually do a quick trimmer check on this Soul 2 6-meter as well, just again to show you guys how to use it. Flysurfer recommends you do your first one after about 10 hours. I haven't put that much time on it yet, but I figured, again, why not? So, that's new as well. So stay tuned. That'll be an interesting video. So, other than that, let's go into the inner bags. Alright, again, basically the same bag, just different colors. Something that I wish Flysurfer would do is I wish that they would put the size on these bags like they do on the outer bags. Mostly because I only take these to the beach. The only time I ever use these extra bags is if I'm traveling international. So just on the beach I have these. Probably what I'm going to do is put the little tag there, here. It's not so bad. Again, Flysurfer, every time I check out these bags, I ask you, please put a shoulder strap on this. You put a shoulder strap on this, it'll be the perfect bag. That's the only bag I'll ever need. It's just a pain when you're going to the beach and you got several of these and you're carrying a hydrofoil and everything else. Having a shoulder strap would make this the perfect bag. Alright, so enough of that. Other than that, I mean, it's basically the same. You got your repair kit on the inside, just like everything else, just like the previous models. Repair kit's got some big spider. It's got a see what's on the inside, pretty typical. It's got extra pulley lines, which are now gray. It's got some bridle lines. It has some little line connectors, and it's got a little bit of this tape in case you cut your fabric. So that's standard. That's the same as before. And that's about it. So let's go ahead and here and let's see for ourselves what the build differences are. Alright, so I've laid them out this way first so we can talk more about the bridle upgrades and just the overall appearance differences. And then after that, I will lay the sole 2 over the sole 1. And what we'll do is we'll then check to see if there's any profile differences and maybe go over a little bit more of the fabric as well. Alright, so let's talk bridles. I need to apologize. It's been really dry up here this summer, so the grass is dead, but hopefully you can kind of see the differences. Lengthwise, they're basically the same. Build-wise, it's basically the same type of adjustable mixer, A, B, C, and Z levels. As you can see, the colors have changed again. Most notably, the pulley lines are no longer the traditional fluorescent yellow. They're now these gray, which is kind of nice. Also, the Z line has changed, where this would normally be the same color as the pulley lines. This is different now, blue. And again, it might be new Kite syndrome, but it looks like this blue is a little bit thinner of a line. Also, something else has changed, which I wish that they didn't, is the color of the Z line basically all the way up. The color of the Z line on the sole 1 is a different red, and this goes basically almost all the way up to the Kite, which is really, really nice. Anytime I have any tangles, I start with the Z lines and go from there. So having a different color Z line really helps with that. On the new generation, after this little bit of a blue line, it just goes to the same darker blue. So that kind of sucks. Other than that, it's this darker blue until we get real close, and it looks kind of like a gray. Again, different. And as you can see, these gray look slightly thinner. Definitely look thinner. So that looks like an upgrade. Other differences: old generation uses the pink little line connectors. New generation now use a gray. Also, another difference is on the new generation, this center rows, as you can see, the center row lines, these are all reinforced. That's new. All the way up. So you got 2, 4, 6, 8 connections here are all been reinforced. And then it looks like down here, these 2 are also reinforced. And then after that, once the bridle switches to the trailing edge, you're no longer reinforced like that. Where on the sole 1, oops, no reinforcements, nothing. No, again, no. So that's a nice update. So they've reinforced some key points, which is really nice. And then lastly, while we're looking, you kind of see the internal structure through the fabric here. And as you can see, it's a little bit less complicated than the internal fabric, especially here. The internal supports on the sole 1. Now, like I said in my previous video, most of the changes of this kite are on the inside because of this new fabric. So you kind of tell the differences. Even though that the new fabric is slightly heavier, these kites are slightly lighter. And then other than that, you can see the color changes. They got rid of the white. Flysurfer claims that some people were complaining that this white was discoloring. So you can see I had no problem with that. But that's why they changed a little bit less red, or I guess a little bit less color, which is nice. I'm not the biggest fan of the pink, so any less the better. And again, the 2 little stripes, which means second generation to me. So okay, so let's go ahead and flip these over let's look at the topsail differences and go from there. All right. So here's a topside comparison. Build-wise, I think it's the same. They just changed the color scheme a little bit. They changed where the Flysurfer went. They changed where the sole looks a little bit different. So you can see on mine, it's starting to wear off, where this looks a little bit better printed. Got the, like the Sonics, it's got the 2 stripes, which to me means second generation. So yeah, that's about that. So let's go ahead and let's put this one on top of that one and let's see if there's any profile changes. All right, last but not least, I've now put both the kites on top of each other so we can check out the profile differences. Now, you're not going to notice the differences as much on the 6 meter as you would with the larger soles, but you can still see it, and I'll definitely explain what it does. But first off, let's start with the basics. All the inlets are in the same area. Looks like to be a similar build. As you can see, these kites are empty, yet the leading edge is already filled up, which is nice. Little update, which actually doesn't make a big difference, is the drainage. As you can see, the sole 1 has just a standard old outlet, where the sole 2, they've now cut it at a 45 degree. That actually makes a big improvement on having the water piss out of these things. And then lastly, there is a very slight profile change. This new generation Flysurfer actually kind of squared off the ends. Again, on this 6 meter, you're not going to see it as much, but it is definitely there, and it definitely makes a change. Check out my Sole 2 8 meter video where I tried to relaunch the kite and tried to crash the kite, and this new generation just would not stay crashed. The sucker just kept relaunching without me really doing anything. And then, even a bigger surprise, is I was able to have this new Sole 2 sit at the wind window and not move. I've never had a foil kite do that before, and I honestly believe it's this little difference in the profile. That should about cover it. If there's anything that I haven't covered in these last 2 videos, make sure you comment below and ask, and I'll do my best to get back to you as quick as possible. Like always, please subscribe. I got a lot more content coming. Next video is the Inflexion quick release. After that will be the trim checker tool. So lots of content coming. A thumbs up is always a great motivation for me. Any kind of feedback is great. And that's about it. So until next time, this is Jason Logson from adventure-logs.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you out on the water. See ya.